Welcome back, folks. Pigs TV. I'm your host, Pigs, as usual. So we're on a map called a MoonQ2 or XR2. Yeah, that's a mouthful in itself. So let's meet the main commanders, shall we? We have Exberg is a Cortex, and his opposite number, Lord Ditmer, is a Marder. So this is although it's not exactly the same, it just reminds me of a speed metal. It's a very small map. You could imagine this on an 8v8, but the good thing is all that tends to be the metal extractors are very close to each other. I'm not sure why he started there. I probably would have wanted to start somewhere in the middle here. I'd have been able to take them two quite easy, but again, each to their own. Everybody plays it differently. It is a less experienced than some of the recent ones. I'm trying to dip into pro and go, come down as well now instead of just picking the lower tiers. So it does take a bit longer to find the higher ones, as obviously now Bar's got a lot more players than what they did. But that's good. That's what you want in this game. So just a bit of a push out. Again, I've not seen this map, so it's like most of them, I mean, obviously the most popular maps are all the glitters and Supreme Itmus and things like that. Are always very common maps that people like to play. But I always like to cover more maps than the usual because obviously. I want to see more maps, and it was another way I thought, well, if I try and cast something, I'm going to see the map anyway, then end up to just try and play it. But, so Lazarus is eating up some energy. I think this is it. No, it's metal. Don't even know the difference between metal and energy. Oh, well, this cast is going to go well. Even though it's a small map, it just feels a quite long map, which obviously it's long, but it's longer than it is, it's not square, but it did take them a while to get there. It's a bit back and forth. You want to be you want to try and get yourself in this, in this line here as I would say as fast as you can. But obviously it's a lot more difficult because of everybody's. The way the squares were set up, it was quite close. It's a nice depression to defend with it being a circle, with it being in a ball, for an example. So we'll see what happens there. There's not much of a push. There was no run bars that I could see or anything like that. The ticks. Reeling now are not going to do much. If they were going to do so much, you would have had to push them in. Yeah, so they're just going to lose anything against the grunt anyway. So what we need to see? Well, we need definitely need a bit more defense, static defense to start with. I'm not on about Dragon's Teeth, but light lasers and things like that definitely is a way to go for this particular part, I think. Now this push could do something. No, it won't do something because they were on the same side. Never mind. Never mind, pigs. That looks like a bomber to me. It certainly is, or sounded like a bomber. It should get taken out by the anti-air anyway, but whether it's going to do any damage beforehand, who knows? Well, it's still continuing to do something, but it's been fixed, so it's not really done much. But obviously now they know that you've got bombers, so the question is now, do you keep with it or do you get rid of it? My strategic plan there was to say ditch it. But you are, I mean, this guy here is actually the tech one. So he should be feeding stuff to the front, really. As well as potentially the yellow. But that doesn't seem to happen. This bottleneck here on the map, if you look at the map, it's been well, in that sense, cut off by these, well, certainly by this lot. But because look at all this metal here. I'm quite surprised that he's not sending any cons to get this metal. Which is, again, he's pushing forward, but it'd be nice to actually push backwards. You know, that's another thing in this game. Always be aware where the metal is. I mean, obviously, your own players should be they do the same. But if they're relatively forward, which all these are, now he's going to get his con up there. But really, that should have happened probably a bit earlier. You always tend to be starving on metal anyway, and you could do some converters, but again, that's not an ideal because obviously it's using energy. Is a Gypsy going to try and D-gun? Maybe. I think that's what he was pushing forward. A bit more static defense. Couple of Dragon's Teeth. Exberg's obviously he's the commander. If we look at the commanders themselves, these two are actually in the same each other. So, in fact, they're exactly the same as, in a sense, what my strength is or the lack of. And that's not changed for the last 6 months because I haven't had a chance to actually play. But like I said, in other games, I am gonna get down there and start playing this a lot more, and be on the ladder and etc. So, if you want to have some games, even non-ladder, just having a bit of fun, always hit me up, pigs@pigstv.com, and we'll get something going. I could do the practice. If I could do more with the practice. So is this going to be a little push by? It might well be. There's not much defence there either. He's got the air out, but that's not going to do much against this. That's it. Take the con out. I'd still would have liked the grunts will take all this out, unfortunately, though. He's not moving around too much. That's what he should have done. He should have been moving around and getting in the back. Yeah, that's it. But it's a bit too late now. Remember, the pawn's faster, so he can carry on moving. And it pulls, obviously, units away. Obviously, this map is definitely not a vehicles map. For sure. And obviously, you've only got solar, so you have no wind on this map. It's something I should have mentioned earlier. That's why we never saw any wind. It's like faster than a light map. There's no wind on this one, which can make it more difficult for people for players that don't practice on both. That was nice. The thugs are derping around and they're finding it very struggling to get over the apex of that, but they've got there in the end. Yeah, the shuriken is going to help with that. Maces should deal with that quite simply. The pawn should never beat the mace, unless there's more pawns than the mace, obviously. But there's 2 maces there, so that's again still only on T1. But that would make sense because all these players are all 3s. And there's only Gypsy Gon is actually the most experienced one of the lot of them. So by looking at his number version, it's not really that much higher than Edika. So it is surprising what the pros can do with the T1 units over somebody that's just not as experienced. They don't put a lot of static defense around either. They'd rather build units, and I think that's the way to go. I mean, this is all right. It's not that much static defense, but it's still, if you take them, you could probably got another couple of units out for that. In the aggregator's in high trajectory mode, so that will take out everything there. It would have taken out anything anyway, because there was nothing to stop it. But it looks like we're in a bit of a lull at the moment. Although the just as gone, he's pushing really well on here. I'd like to have seen these Rocketeers sort of again lined. It's difficult because you're on the ridge, but he has got the high ground, and we know what the high ground's like. It needs a lot. Oh well, that's a nice little plenty. The shotgun is a bit annoying, but it's just taken out anyway. So is he going to try? Is Codename going to try and degun this slot? Well, if he won't, yeah, he was a bit. He needs to pull back. Them nice bombing run there. He's trying to put Codename back into the Stone Age, and I think at the moment it's quite effective, but he maybe just be able to. And obviously all this metal that he can get back. If he goes and gets the aggravator. No, sorry, the robber. Wrong one. What am I on about? This push is really quite successful. It's nice to. Although it would have been nice to. I think he could have bowled. I mean, obviously. Oh, there we go. I know what he was doing there. He didn't want to push that too far because obviously that would have taken out his units. Now he should be able to take out most of the green here as well now. Orange is pushing up. So this is definitely, I think this is definitely a red game to lose. But again, blue's doing the other way, so it could be a split map scenario if they can get themselves together. But I just don't think they're going to do it at this point. The mace should see off the deck, but there's not enough of them. And there's not enough Rocketeers to be able to strike back and forth. He is building some. But obviously, as Exberg's far away from his base, it makes so much more difficult for him for this to work. Bombers are doing really well, which is unusual. And obviously he hasn't got any anti-air, so he can't really take them out. So they're just having a field day. I think this is all that she wrote there. He has got a bit of defence and he is building up more. Broccoli. He's going to get back into the studies. Like I said, he was the tech player. There we go. I think he...
Battle ended.
Yes. I think he GG'd there. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. It was a bit back and forth, but it was predictable the end. But I actually enjoyed that, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.